There is that moment that you'll always identify with being a Wisconsin Badger. Maybe it was your first jump around or the lecture that inspired your ambitions. For me, it's my family waking me up as we drove to Madison for the very first time going down John Nolan Drive. Many of you probably saw that same view as you were coming in today. I was in awe of the morning sun reflecting off of Lake Monona and the Capitol shining bright in the skyline. Whatever your moment was, we all knew that we wanted to be a Badger, but we didn't know what exactly that would all look like. Our college journey is made up of all kinds of moments like these. Moments in history, moments on campus, and moments of happiness. Since our first day, I chased more of those moments. In doing so, I found the people who meant the most to me and the ideas that pushed me the farthest. I went to places I had never been, mentally and physically, and sometimes ended up in places I did not want to be. I lost the drive to be an engineer and found myself on academic probation, not knowing what truly made me happy and what or why I wanted to study. I would look out at crowds on campus, not seeing many who looked like me, feeling intensely alone, only to go home, look in the mirror, and not know who was staring back. It's here where we all picture something different that carried us through those low points. When I talk about best friends, you might not picture Isabel, Connor, Jacob, or Alexis, but you know that feeling of trust and reassurance. When I talk about favorite restaurants, you might not be at Baraka with me, but you're ready to chow down. When I talk about relaxing, though, I know you and I are both at the terrace, looking over Lake Mendota as the sun sets. With my family and friends at my side, I changed myself and the world around me to find more moments of happiness. I became brave as a way to conquer fear and discovered passion as a way to process pain. I started writing again and was finally invested in my education as a journalism and Afro-American studies student. I stepped up to represent the university as a tour guide, and I marched down this same field as drum major in the hopes that when people of color looked at UW-Madison, they didn't just see me, but themselves. Then, at what seemed like the beginning of the end, we leapt from the assuredness of graduation into the uncertainty of the pandemic. The ending to college was scrapped, and before we knew it, the start of our careers was revised. Graduating last May, we didn't just become alumni. We became nurses, activists, educators, and everything in between. For me, this meant driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, which, as zany as it sounded, was also just as profound, because I was lucky enough to help create joy while living in the toughest of times. I promised myself that I would come back to Madison after the Wienermobile as a smarter, stronger, and braver person so I could better carry out the Wisconsin idea. Now, on this September afternoon, I'll let you be the judge of whether I kept my promise, but one thing is for sure, I definitely have a lot more hot dogs in my stomach. None of us is the same person that signed off on Canvas one last time in May of 2020. Watching the NIC not open until after you graduate really changes you. It's free admission this weekend for us also, if you want to do that. In all seriousness, though, since our original commencement, we handled a presidential election, a global pandemic, and a social revolution. And yet, as alumni, all of us continue to chase moments of happiness, whether in a classroom, an office, or a giant hot dog. Whatever you have taken on after graduation, I hope you tackle it with the same tenacity that you had as a student. Because today, we remind ourselves that we aren't just Badgers, we are the class of 2020. We don't search for knowledge, we sift and winnow. We don't walk into game day, we march. There will never be another class of 2020. We graduated into a most uncertain year, and it's up to us to give future Badgers and those that come after us the chance to make their very own moments of happiness. Just as we did on campus, as alumni, we must continue to pursue progress and advocate for what matters, Black Lives Matter. Stopping AAPIDA hate matters. Representation matters. We must keep chasing our better selves and creating a better world, going forever forward by the bright, shining light of the moon. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your work. Mahal kita. Eat a rock. Once a Badger, always a Badger. And on, Wisconsin.